Hello, welcome to Tuesday's Tips. I'm your host, Meg Rentschler, and you are on the Star Coach show right now, in that we are doing this collaborative thing together, live, all about coaching. So, as we dive into my tips today, which are about being collaborative with other coaches, the fun you can have, the opportunities you can open, and the the way that it can shift your perspective. And isn't that really what we want to do as coaches? Shift perspectives, look at things another way. We can do that as we collaborate with others. Before we dive into that, I do want to thank you for being here and ask you, wherever you're listening, follow me, subscribe. So certainly if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the Star Coach Show channel on YouTube. I have tips coming out all the time, little shorts from our interviews, and so many things that will help you expand the way that you look at how you show up as a coach. Now, while the Star Coach Show is definitely for all of us who are coaches, and I welcome you, I also do a lot of work with leaders to use coaching to strengthen your leadership. So be sure to check out the Star Coach Show at starcoachshow.com. Click in that drop down menu on the podcast and find Coaching with Leaders. Leaders, you will find so many tips to use coaching as you are a leader to help empower your team, get things done, become more productive, so many great things. So now let's talk about our Tuesday tips. The reason why I wanted to talk about collaborative relationships in this Tuesday tip is because the new Star Coach Show comes out tomorrow. It comes out every Wednesday morning. And what's unique and exciting about the new show that comes out tomorrow is that it was a collaboration between me and another coach. Now, for any of you who are longtime Star Coach listeners, you're going to say, Meg, you have coaches on your show all the time. They bring their expertise, their great value. They help all of us thrive. And yes, you're right. That's a whole big part of the Star Coach Show. What's unique about tomorrow's show is that when I was doing my exploratory call with Candy Motzek to determine what she wanted to bring to the show, what we were going to highlight, she said, I've got my own podcast too. My podcast, The Star Coach Show, her podcast is called She Coaches Coaches. She said, what if we did a collaborative interview where we're interviewing one another about the things about coaching that we know create barriers for coaches, and get the barriers out of the way, to give some perspective about the way that we coach, the way that we help clients open up to possibility. So tomorrow's show is a brand new experiment, and I would love to know how it lands on you. How do you like, so if you're used to watching the show, you know that I'm usually the one that opens up the show. But in this situation, Candy's going to open it up. She welcomes everybody first, and then I talk, so it's this zigzag kind of, back and forth in a really creative way. And I loved it, but I would love to know what you think. Well, you know that I do my Tuesday tips to help you to highlight something about the next week, the next day's show, just to kind of get you excited about it and get it going. And so because Candy and I did this experiment with this show, and we collaborated with one another, that was my highlight for this Tuesday's tip in how can you have collaborative endeavors between yourself and another coach that is fun, it enriches you, but it also allows you to leverage your strengths combined with another person's strengths and really create more impactful experiences for your client population. I think that many times we look at other coaches as competition. And I know that I've said this before, look at that as a collaborative situation rather than a competitive situation. There are more than enough people in the world, even though the coaching industry is booming and more people are coming into coaching, there are still many more people who need coaching than there are coaches. So how can you potentially leverage the things that excite you and that you want to offer, but maybe there's a gap. Maybe there's a gap for you that another coach could fill. Maybe you are really dynamic in offering a particular program or focusing on a particular thing, and it would marry very well with somebody else's perspective and somebody else's specialty. So with that, let's talk about a couple things that you might do in the way of collaborative partnerships with other coaches. The possibilities are endless, but we'll just jump into a few today. So, what about co-hosting a workshop or a webinar with somebody else so that you now, I will say that early on, a long time ago, I did a collaborative group process. So this is going to kind of tie into another where we did a, a group that we worked with each week. But it was sort of in these short webinars or in these workshops that we would bring people in, and we were working with them around launching their businesses, around getting in front of people. We also, so maybe you have a population, maybe you are working with women in transition, and you've got some particular things that you like to focus on with women, and maybe there's a financial coach who is a specialist in retirement or like handling finances through transitions. So you bring your specialty, that financial coach brings their specialty. You put together a workshop or a training or a digital course that each of you can bring your expertise and your specialty forward. Well, what does that do? That, first of all, makes a richer learning experience for your population that you're teaching. But it also allows you to have sort of this give and take with a partner in the process. It allows you to do some of the training, some of the coaching, some of the facilitation, but it also allows you to do that with a partner where you can ebb and flow, lean into one another's strengths. So, one idea would be co-hosting workshops or webinars with one another. Another idea, which, by the way, we talked about this in one of my episode on retreats, where we talked about maybe you could do a themed getaway with your population where you organize a retreat. Now, that would be so much easier to do if you were collaborating with somebody else. What are they going to cover? What are you going to cover? How can we together plan this? Maybe you even hire somebody to kind of help you create this retreat. But when you have this blend of different coaching styles, different approaches, maybe somebody is a wellness coach and somebody else is a business coach, and you're going to do a retreat with some yoga, or like in the morning you're focused in on the wellness aspect and some things that you might think about or do from the wellness coach. And you set the day in the way of sort of relaxation and nutrition and wellness. And then in the afternoon, you roll into some business stuff and you work out, getaways or time away where people can do some things around their wellness or around their business. Point being, the field gets so much richer when in fact you are collaborating with someone else to create this experience. So think about co-hosting workshops and webinars. Think about joint retreats, how those things coming together and having a partner in that can make the lift just a little bit easier. This is the other thing that collaboration does. It keeps you accountable because it's not just about you, it's about somebody else too. So if you have a habit, as I will acknowledge sometimes I do, of kicking the can down the road, like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. I'll do that retreat next year or next year. But you've got somebody that you're collaborating to make that happen. You're going to hold each other accountable and it's far more likely to happen quicker. What are some other things that you could do collaboratively? If you're listening to this, maybe throw a comment in the chat. If you're here live with me, what might be exciting to do collaboratively for you? While you're thinking about that, even if you're listening to this recording after the live, throw some ideas in the chat about what an exciting collaboration might look like to you. I'm going to give a couple more ideas. You can collaborate with somebody through a joint venture partnership. So maybe you're offering a particular program. You've got something that will bring value to another coach's population, to their list. Maybe it's something that complements what they do. So a collaborative way to work with that coach is to invite them into being a joint venture partner with you, where you pay them basically for advertising your program to their community. You supply them with the email content that they would send. You give them things like, thumbnails to share and graphics and a schedule of things to like social media posts. And they agree to put that in front of their audience because they know that this is going to bring value to their audience. And in exchange for that, you fee share with them. It could be, 40%, 30%, 20%, a certain dollar amount. But that's a way to collaborate. It also is a great way if you're a little further in your journey than somebody else who is, you might say, well, what's the value to me to give some of my revenue to somebody else? Well, they're putting you in front of people that you might not normally get a chance to get in front of. You get their endorsement because I'm certainly not going to be a JV partner for anything that I don't believe in. So inherently, you're getting their endorsement for that. But for those of you who are thinking, would I like to be a JV partner? When you work with somebody who might be even ahead of you in the journey, you learn from them by seeing what's their content that they're offering. What are they suggesting you say in the emails? So what's the copy that they're supplying to you? What kinds of posts are they creating? Now, if you're going to do this, you've got to actually get out there and do what you say you're going to do. But it's a great way to learn from somebody who might be ahead of you in the journey, and get some income for yourself. But certainly you're only going to promote something that you really believe would bring value to your clients. So we've got co-hosted webinars or workshops, doing a joint retreat, doing a JV partnership. You might, and in that, even if you don't go all the way to do a a JV partnership, you might cross post on social media with another coach. So you might highlight some of their stuff, that once again might be something that complements what you do, or is not something that's in your lane, but you know that it would benefit your audience. So within these kinds of collaborative relationships, you could conceivably collaborate on creating content, even videos or lives. This is something that I love to do with other coaches, is hop on a live. Like if uh if if I'm sometimes when I'm doing a show, my guest will hop on the live with me, and we'll talk a little bit about what people can expect on the upcoming show. So lots of different things. You could create videos together. You could do a Q&A. There's lots of different things that you can do to have a meeting of the minds with another coach, and see what I see that doing every single time that I've done it is it challenges me to think a little bit differently, to expand my lens. And that's kind of what we do as coaches, period. So why not do that um, intentionally? So, one more thing that I want to share in the way of a possible collaborative relationship is running a group coaching program with another coach. What you get is diverse perspectives. You can once again have that accountability in that we're going to do this. This is what it's going to look like. Here's the different roles that we're going to play in that. And you learn from the other person who's doing it with you. You have the possibility to kind of offer them your perspective, and the group is that much richer with two coaches in it. I will say that early on, I'm sharing my different experiences that I did early on, but early on, I worked with a mentor of mine, or he was a mentor, and then he invited me into working with some of the companies that he worked with, and we ran some group programs together. It was great learning, not just for me, but he said that he learned from me, from my different style, from the different things that I did. So you can always be in that place of how can I continue to grow and flourish through this collaboration. So as I wrap up my time, because Tuesday's tips is supposed to be quick and to the point, and I went on a bit, but I will say there's just one more collaboration that I would encourage you to think about when you are in a place of how would collaborating with another coach serve me? I think that that's in breaking the isolation. It's difficult to do everything alone. And so look for a community, look for a mastermind, look for a group that you can work with that helps to hold you accountable, that breaks the isolation, that allows you to be the best you can be in a environment where people understand what you're doing, they're like-minded, they're wholehearted, those kinds of things. Now, I will say that I actually offer a community that would certainly supply you with all those things and break your isolation. So if you're interested in exploring what it would be like to be in a community, check out Star Coach Community, starcoachshow.com/community. And see if that suits you. But this is the deal. If you're here listening and you want to know, shoot me an email at meg at a focus on results. It would be super helpful if I knew my own focusonresults.com, and say, yes, I would love I would love to come to one of the live events in the Star Coach community. Shoot me an email. Say, Meg, I saw your live. I want to hop on to one of the live events and just see what it's like, free of charge. I just want to experience the community. Let me know at meg@afocusonresults.com. Let me know. I saw your live on collaboration. I'm ready to have a community. I want to come to one of your events, and I'll invite you to that event. So if you're like, well, what kind of events are we talking about? Well, do you have some questions that you want to have answered? Come to our Q&A and hot seat coaching session. Do you feel like you're drifting away from coaching skills? Then tell me you want to come to the coaching demo where we do a coaching and then we do a debrief around the coaching. Maybe you're interested in spending time with one of the stars that has been on the show, one of the experts on the show. Then tell me you want to come to the Star Power Hour. Maybe you're just missing coaching interaction and you want to enjoy the community, socialize, get to know people. Then you'll want to come to the social. We have 4 live events every month, and it's a steal. So if you want to come to an event just to see what it's like, shoot me an email and I'll be happy to invite you. So as we round up, today we were talking about the power of collaboration and the fact that the coaching community is filled with creative, talented people. And when we put those talents together, we're that much stronger. We bring that much more forward. So think about how you might want to collaborate with another coach to enrich what it is that you're offering. Maybe you're not offering anything yet, and collaborating with another coach will help you cross that marker and get into getting your impact into the world. Once again, thanks for being here. Wherever you're listening, either follow me on LinkedIn, join the Star Coach community on Facebook, the free Facebook page that you can join and be a part of. Or if you're listening to us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe because we have new stuff coming out on YouTube almost every single day. So until next week for more Tuesday's tips, this is Meg Rentschler wishing you the very best for your success. One more thing as we're wrapping up, I do a live show once a month. It's usually the 4th Thursday of every month at 1 p.m. Central. I'm excited to share that this Thursday at 1 p.m., I'm actually going to be closing on my brand new house. So I'm going to do the live tomorrow, Wednesday, November 20th at noon Central. And we're going to be talking about how gratitude and choice can help us get past despair, frustration, overwhelm. So with that, I invite you tomorrow to join me for the live episode. And I, once again, thank you for being here. Until next week, be sure to watch the new episode that comes out tomorrow. You have a great day. This is Meg Rentschler signing off.